Welcome back to Players Only. Now, Andrew Wiggins, he has 24 points. He's 8 for 15. He's going ham out there. And Paul George, 18 points, 6 for 12. And when you think about Paul George, his last 16 games, he's averaged, let's just call it 32, 31.8, 49% field goal shooting. 43 from threes. He is hot, but when we talk about this OKC team, their coach has been fired. The team could be in disarray, but we know one thing, the constant has to be Karl Anthony Towns. And it seems like he's coming out with a little bit of energy, doing those little things, those dirty things, K-Mac, that you love seeing big fellas do.
Yeah, they were up 10 when he was playing, and then he got in foul trouble, got his third foul. He only played 9 minutes in the first half. I like when he puts his head down and goes to the basket. I just think sometimes he'll settle. Right here, you always don't have to be in great, he's in great position up for an offensive rebound, but he works for it. He bodies the guy, gets it, puts it back up, and gets an N1. Now you're going to see a little out-of-bounds play, nice play drawn up by Ryan, but he just gets it and goes right to the rim. There's no hesitation. And I think when Karl Anthony Towns is attacking the rim, he's getting to the line and putting a lot of pressure on the defense, and that's the best version of the cat. I know all the analytics people say, oh, he's got to take more threes. Screw those threes, man. Yeah. Get that ball in the paint, and be effective. And he's really, I like the way he's playing right now, but he's got to stay on the floor.
Zeke, and on the other end, Westbrook, you look at his stats tonight, 4 turnovers, 3 for 10, 0 for 3 from the three-point line. But just for our fans out there, this year he leads the NBA in steals and assists per game. And if you remember a little while ago, he said, I can do everything, pass, shoot, dribble. What do you see that you like of his game or don't like of his game tonight?
Well, the thing that I like that I'm seeing about him is that he's not worried about, his field goal percentage, or really scoring. And even though we're going to see him taking the mid-range jumper here, which he's so efficient at doing, and also driving to the basket, once he makes the mid-range, it opens up the drive. And you like to see a player rewarded of his stature, even when he makes a mistake, right? Somebody is there to help and assist him. Westbrook sets the tone, he sets the tempo. With his energy, with his force, with his stamina every single night. So he's got 9 assists already. And when you got 9 assists and you dishing and moving the ball around, that means everybody else is eating, everybody else is feeling good, and we know he can come back and get his. So I love what he's done thus far the first half.
Let me ask you something, Zeke, because Westbrook is a heavily criticized player. MVP, people say you can't play with him. Other players may get a pass. He plays so hard every night. When you look at a guy that plays this hard, so efficient in many areas, maybe in other areas not as efficient, why do you think he gets the criticism? Is it just because of his game? Is it because of how he looks, how angry he looks? Is it because of how he attacks the basket, how fast he plays? But I'm trying to find, what really is the criticism? Because like you said, he has 4 turnovers tonight, but still has 9 assists, still leading the league, out-rebounding big fellas. What is the knock?
I think, Chris, he's at that stage where a lot of players get to, where they've had great success in the league, and then it's like, okay, now you got to win. Mm-hmm. I need to see you win it all. Okay, you're the MVP, and Harden's in the same situation. You're the MVP, you play good, you get numbers. I've seen all that. Regular season's great, so forth and so on. Now you've gotten to the point where you've separated yourself from the pack. So you're not measured with the pack anymore.
Right.
Now you start getting measured with the champions.
That's right.
Okay, can you put a ring on your finger?
Right.
And can he get to that next level of being a champion and winning the championship? And that's where the criticism comes in for he and also Harden right now.
Other players
because now it's like, okay, now you got to get there. I'm not impressed by the regular season. That don't make me excited no more. And I got to see you in the playoffs.
And the thing I like about Russell right now, he's 3 for 10, okay? His shot hasn't been going in. He stopped shooting. He defers. Like he'll let Paul get off. He kind of knows that when you shoot and your shot's kind of funky, you shoot 4 or 5 shots, you're like, I don't know if I got that tonight. Plan B. And he's the 9 assists at halftime, So I like the fact that he's deferring, and he's going to win a championship, if he does win a championship, with the right players around him and him deferring. Because there's going to be some games where it's just not going, but he's going to find other people. He's talented enough to affect the game in so many different ways. So you're right. His criticism comes from his team doesn't win enough, and he's done everything else.
That's good that you broke it down like that, because sometimes you think it's personal, and the way that you put it, it is personal, because you want to be personally regarded as one of the best with these guys, and that just means let it brush off your back and win some games and show us what you're going to do.
You got to keep moving up the ladder.
Yeah.
You can't stop right here.
Yeah.
You got to keep moving.
Yeah, and moving up the ladder. This man wants to move up the ladder. That's right. That's Mike's brother. That's right, Kyle Lowry. You know who it is. Get it, bad boys. Players only. You know, guys, you guys are champions, and I always remember when I was younger, being in certain places and playing, I remember thinking to myself, these are years that you'll never get back. We have no chance to win a championship this year in Washington. We won 14 games. These are years you never get back. What if years you're young? Him being a young leader right now, for these not to be wasted years, because it doesn't seem like he'll win a championship this year or next year, and history will judge him for that. But what would you say right now, Kevin, if you had his ear, how would you point him in the right direction, or the continued right direction, to finish with a great career regardless of the rings? Because you're never guaranteed that. Right. You're only guaranteed your work ethic. How would you talk to him about the position he's in now and how it can go either way and how he needs to make the most of this?
The NBA is a unique game, and once you kind of figure it out, there's a lot of different ways you can play to help that team win games. He's got to figure out all the different ways that he puts up numbers. That dude can put up numbers. That's over. Yeah. Zeke, we've had this conversation a million times. It's easier to put up numbers than it is go collect wins. Winning is hard in this league. There's a million different ways to do it. You get the vibe of the game going. All of a sudden, your teammates got to roll, and you find a way to get him extra 3-4 shots. Dribble handoff. You know, you bring the ball over to the hot guy. You defensively take the other team's top guy and say, you know what, I'm shutting this cat down. Mm-hmm. This guy's got it going. I can shut this guy down. All right, man, hey, we're missing a lot of shots. I'm going the offensive glass. I'm going to clean that glass up. I'm getting 5 or 6 offensive rebounds, 4 putbacks tonight. There's a million different ways to help your team win this game. He's got to figure them all out, and they all don't come up on the stat sheet. And that's what always irritates me. So many people nowadays, the analytics, what's the first thing they do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he had this, and this. Yeah. But there's winning plays all over to be made. And once you kind of understand that, I remember I was playing as a rookie, middle of the third quarter, and the vets came over and said, man, hey, look at these next 2 minutes. We put this game away. I'm like, huh? You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I don't know any better. And after the game, I went up to ML Carr, and I said, he goes, oh, they were on tilt. You could just see them. Yeah. And we're up 10. Yeah. And we outscored them these next 2-3 minutes, 8-0. We're up 18. They're just ready to give up. Yeah. And I realized when I started understanding the game, I could see teams when they were on tilt, and I got that feel for, okay, this is when we push. Yeah. 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Forget the last 2 minutes. We do it now. Yeah. Yeah. And when you get that sense of we can win this game now, and you do it, it's fun, man, because you start getting a vibe that you can control a lot of stuff that happens on the floor.
You were a leader both at Indiana and again in the NBA. When it was up on you, you come into the Pistons young, you get criticized for scoring and assists. It's a new game that's coming and everyone doesn't understand. Did you have to say to Joe later on, I need you to do this with me? And I know we can all watch this with the Bad Boys and Splash Brothers, NBA TV players only, baby. But what was your thought as a leader when you didn't know you were going to be one of the greatest of all time, when you didn't know how good a team could be to win?
I didn't know that I would end up having the NBA career that I end up having, but I knew we were going to win a championship. I mean, I knew that from day one. And not only did I know that from day one, but this is how we're going to plan and this is how we're going to do it. There's going to be a lot of studying involved. So I had to go to school, right? Had to go study the Celtics, had to go study the Lakers. And what I learned, then you come back, this is how they practice, this is what they do, this is how we got to imitate. We would get knocked out, in April. These guys were playing till May and June. No, we're not going home. We got practice tomorrow at 11. Chuck, everybody else can go home, but the players, we're going to continue to practice. We're going to continue to get better.
Get used to this time frame.
You got to get used to the time frame, and then you got to work on getting back. But there's an intensity and there's a passion, and then there's hey, you can't leave. I know you got plans with your girlfriend or with your wife, but Joe, you can't leave. I need you to stay here, right? And Joe would make the sacrifice. He would stay. Lambeer was always, I got to leave for a couple of weeks, but I'm coming back. And then, as you know, Chris, when y'all got back in the fall, right, we would come down there and be playing with y'all. So,
Yeah,
so when the
some of these, they say.
Fab Five when y'all started playing in Ann Arbor, right? Our whole team, we would come down there, scrimmage, practice, and play against y'all. So that's the type of commitment. So it wasn't about me getting better; it was about our team. And I knew our team one day was going to win the championship, and you had to stay committed to that.
I could sit here and listen for hours, Zeke. You know, I already love it. Hey, you already kicked game with Steph, and it's appreciated to listen to you guys talk about this. But when we come back, speaking of Steph, we're going to get some more game from Steph. Splash Brothers, that's right. They talk to the bad boys. Steph, you know he's already in the top 5 of threes all time.
Already.
Shoot it!
At this point, as we stand here, do you sort of have your rotation and guys and ins and out figured out, or do you feel like you'll feel the game out as it goes and decide along the way?
Yeah, I have a framework would like to see happen, but obviously things happen throughout a game, and fouls, things like that. So I'll be feeling it out as well.
Are there some butterflies going on inside you right now?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said there weren't. I think that's only natural, but I feel very comfortable with this group of coaches and this group of players too. So I feel good.
Is there someone that, whether it's another coach or a player, or even someone in your family that you really leaned on in the last 24 hours, just kind of keep your head straight?
Yeah, I've leaned on a lot of people. When I have taken phone calls and have taken breaks from trying to get ready for tonight. But obviously mother, wife, and then I got some coaching friends around the league, and then also guys in the locker room have been great.
Ryan, this is a tough question.
He knows where his bread is buttered, the mother and the wife. That's right. Make sure you get them the shout out first. That's Ryan right there, Ryan Saunders, and he's 32 years old. He's younger than 42 players in the NBA, including 3 on his own team when you talk about Dang, Taj Gibson, and Anthony Tolliver. He looked a little nervous there, but you love the fact that, he knows his team, and this is a moment that he's been dreaming about a lifetime. You have to remember that as well. And I'm sure with the group of coaches and the people that he has around him that, this is the start of something good, because as a head coach, you want to make sure that you have a long tenure and it's not just about this time with them. Any last second advice that you would give him besides those last 35 seconds of the game, K-Mac?
You know what? Be flexible, because I think when you first start coaching, sometimes you have an idea in your head what's going to happen, and man, your best player gets ejected by arguing with the referee in the first 3 minutes. You go like, things are going to change. You got to be flexible. Every game is different, and I knew that as a player, and I had to put my player's hat back on. Like every game's going to be different. As a player, every game is different. As a coach, every game is different, and guys get hot and stuff. And when when I look at that, I just can't help but think of how proud Flip would have been.
Yes.
And Flip is of his son right now, coaching this team and stuff like that. I just known Ryan since he was just a little baby. And boy, his dad would just be his dad's absolutely beaming right now. And so it's pretty cool. But when he said butterflies, you got all kinds of butterflies.
I tell you what, Flip Saunders was my coach, and I think just in honor of his dad, he should call it 252 twist. Everybody in the league that played, no, that's you dribble to one side, bring the guy back over in front of him. Vlade, way to switch on that play. Vlade always had my back. And Zeke, as he's getting ready for Westbrook and PG-13 and one of the best defensive teams in this league, does that even throw more of a wrinkle into it, or just because it's your first NBA game, it doesn't matter who?
No, I think he's going to be well prepared for that, because, as an assistant coach, this could have been his scout team.
That's right.
So, so he probably understands everything that, the opponents that OKC is going to be doing, the player tendencies and all of that. He's well versed in that. I think the most difficult thing for him tonight will be finding his coach's voice. When he says he's got butterflies, the most intimidating thing that a lot of young coaches will find is when they stand up in front of that locker room, when they stand in front of those players in that locker room, and those 12 to 15 guys are sitting in front of them, and they're all looking at you, right? And that voice comes out, that voice of nervousness or hesitancy. If that voice comes out, then all the players are like,
yeah. No, I've seen some veterans do that.
So you know that he got to find his coach's voice. He's got to find his we're here to win it. We're gonna do it, so forth and so on. Because then they'll have belief. But if there's any crack or if there's any shake on the board,
Yeah. hopefully being at home for him will give the energy to the players where they'll go out. And you know how that one player is always inspired. And speaking of being inspired,
Elvis.
yeah, give
I
that
knew
man
he
a
didn't
peanut
die.
butter and banana sandwich ASAP. That's
I
right.
knew he was alive.
You knew, you know, he's probably with Tupac hanging out after the game.